Hello and namaste and welcome to my channel. So in today's video I would like to discuss about this recent news which has come regarding Shapoorjee Pallonji group wanting to sell their stake in Tata Sons. So and what are the implications of that on the Tata group companies and the particularly listed stocks? So to start with this thing, just let me give you a little background about this kind of a duel or the fight between Tata Sons and the Shapoorjee Pallonji Mistry. Basically, Shapoorjee Pallonji Mistry group is the biggest, largest shareholder in the privately held Tata Sons Private Limited, and 18.73% of the stake they hold. They are the largest shareholder. And Cyrus Mistry, who is the eldest son of the Shapoorjee Pallonji, is this recent heir. He was the chairman of the Tata board from 2014 to 2016, and then suddenly he was removed in 2016 from the board of the directors of Tata Sons group. So that is from that time onward, this distance between the Shapoorjee Pallonji group and the Tata Sons started, and that became a kind of a enmity between the two groups, and ultimately now with all this thing, it has culminated into this selling of decision of Tata Shapoorjee Pallonji group to get out of the Tata Sons board and sell their stake into this Tata Sons, because to meet their own business and daily needs of their own operations and business requirements. They have also wide variety of business in the construction and so many other business areas they have. So basically, because Tata Sons is a private limited company, it's not listed. So whatever the valuation which we have from their listed entities, because they are the holding company for all the listed entities like Tata Motors, Tata TCS, Tata Consulting Services, Titan Group, and Tata Steel, and numerous others unlisted small entities like Tata Projects Limited, Tata Consulting Engineers, Tata Aviation, and also Tata Defense Services. So many of this unlisted company, but basically it is the holding company of all these Tata Group companies, and whatever the valuation is coming into this from the newspaper, it's around that for Shapoorjee Pallonji Group holding 18.73% entails or converts into approximately around $20 billion at the current market price of whatever the valuation is there. So now the question is that how the Tatas, because they have no other option, but they have to sell to Tata Sons, because it's a private limited company, it's not listed. So if the Tata Sons has to buy, because if Shapoorjee Pallonji either has to sell it to some other or to the owner, that is the Tata Sons, and definitely the Tata Sons only would like to take it, and they don't want anybody else to enter into the Tata Sons board. So at around $20 billion, how Tata would be able to raise this money, or from where this money for buying back stake of Shapoorjee Pallonji will come from? So let us take one by one this companies, which main companies of the listed companies of Tata groups. So first is this Tata Motors is, so in that 42% stake is of this Tata Sons. So the promoters hold around 42% stake, and the current market price and the current market value also, it doesn't entail much, because 42% is already they cannot afford to sell anything, and also this holds around $8.5 billion of net debt at the group at the Tata Motors level. Also, it is, as you know, that that it is in a trouble in the business. This auto aviation business, automobile business is already in the trouble, and currently they are doing very badly. They are actually heavily losing, and the current domestic Tata Motors is actually, it has no worth. Its all net worth is eroded. It's only the Jaguar Land Rover, that UK group, which is doing comparatively very well, and that is what it is helping the Tata Motors as such. Then come back to this Tata Steel, that is steel foray. So there also their stake is Tata Sons stake is very low at around 34%. So there is no scope of reducing or selling that to raise money. And also, if you take these two companies, Tata Motors and Tata Steel, they are very heavily indebted. Means they have a huge debt on their balance sheet. They are very leveraged. So total debt of these two companies is close to around 21 to 22 billion dollar as of the current exchange rate, and as of the current latest balance sheet available. These are the data. So 22 billion dollars around of debt. And in recent times, the Tata Group had started deleveraging their balance sheet, and that is where they were trying to sell chorus assets in UK, and one by one they were trying to reduce the debt on their books. But with this particular event happening, where they need to raise this $20 billion, so they are a little bit restricted into that selling of or reducing that leverage. So now only remaining company which remains in the Tata stable is this TCS, Tata Consulting Services, that IT services company. And that is where they have this leverage to reduce their stake and raise money, because in that TCS they hold, Tata Sons hold around 72% of the stake is held by the Tata Sons. And also at the current market price, their market capitalization comes to around $125 billion of TCS. So even if they say, suppose to give to buy back the stake of 18.73% from Shapoorjee Pallonji, they need to give around $20 billion. So if at $125 billion of current market cap, even if they reduce around say 16% from their 72% stake, they will be easily be able to raise $20 billion. So and even after reducing the 16% stake, they will still be the majority shareholder with the 56% stake in TCS. So that way, I believe that this offers them the best way to solve this particular fundraising problem. Or if they want, they can go for this mixture of raising debt on TCS's books, because TCS is a cash generating company. It's an IT service company. It's a cash generating company. It generates profitability of around 33 and 70. Around $4.5 to $5 billion every year, and out of that, they are also the biggest dividend payer to the Tata Group as per se, because Tata Group gets around $1.6 billion as dividend every year from, this is the cash flow they get from the Tata TCS. So if they reduce, so that cash flow, if they reduce their stake, they sell that 16% of the stake in TCS, they will be able to raise the money and buy back the stake from the Shapoorjee Pallonji. But at the same time, because of the reduction in their stake in TCS, their future earnings or the future cash dividend receivability will be reduced to a great extent, and that will limit, or that will hamper their plans for future investment into, say, many businesses, including say Tata Steel, or in the Tata Motors, or even for the aviation expansion, which they have very much ambition about. Even there are talks about that Air India also, when government wants to sell this stake, they had shown interest. So, and also in the defense, they are very much into the defense projects also. So in the defense, Tata Defense Company is also there. They have an unlisted company. So with this, if they do like this way, then their future ability to invest money into the different projects and for the business expansion also gets very much restricted. So that is where I think the biggest dilemma of the Tata Group will come with, whether to sell the stake and raise that money and give it to Shapoorjee Pallonji, or raise debt on TCS books, because TCS is a debt free, it's a cash generating company, so they can easily raise. But that way the valuation will be, and also the ability of the Tata Group, Tata Sons, will be reduced in any case to a great extent about controlling this TCS, or about the other group companies. So in nutshell, I believe that this particular event of Shapoorjee Pallonji wanting to get out of from the Tata board, and Tata Tata Sons has to give them that around $20 billion, will definitely impact the share price, or this will have a huge futuristic impact on all these four listed companies, which are the major companies, four listed major companies, because if you look at this Nifty 50, that constituent of Nifty 50, the Tata Group's four companies are the part of the Nifty 50 group. So, first is the TCS, it is around 5% of the weightage in the Nifty 50 is by TCS. Then the Titan, it's about 1% of the weightage of the Nifty 50 is by Titan. And the Tata Steel and Tata Motors constitute around 1.7%. So total Tata Group's weightage in Nifty 50 is around 7.3%. So that way, if the share price will always come under pressure, because there will be the future worries about that how Tatas will be able to generate enough cash to sustain the businesses of the other companies, which they were doing it by getting money from the TCS, whatever the dividend, as a dividend, and as well as this that cash profitability of TCS was always used to fund the projects of other group companies, or also to keep the investors stake at the current level by pumping money into, say, Tata Motors or Tata Steel and Tata Projects for whatever. So all the other businesses, in short, were taken care of by TCS's profitability and the TCS's cash generating ability and the dividend paying. So overall, I think it's in the future it will has a great. It's not a very positive development for Tata Sons or the Tata Group companies as per se, and it will definitely weigh in the market, and this will also weigh negatively in the market, in the stock market, on this all this Tata Group. Particularly, I think vulnerable will be Tata Motors and Tata Steel, because they are highly leveraged and they used to get all the support from this Tata TCS's money, which was, that Tata Sons were able to invest money into this Tata Motors and Tata Steel for their all the projects, and reduce debt also by getting money from this TCS as a dividend money. But now with the reduced, if they have to do this, so in any case it will be negative for all the Tata Group companies in the coming days. So that's what I just wanted to share my views, that investors will be, I think, trying to sell in the there will be sell in the Tata group companies, like, say, Trent and Titan and Tata Motors, Tata Steel and TCS. You will see the selling pressure on this Tata group companies. That's it from my side. And before, if even if it is repeated, I would just try to request you to subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed, and don't forget to push notification button, that is the bell button near the subscribe, because I come out with the always some new interesting videos, and you can get those videos as and when I come out with. If you have pressed that notification button, you will get the notification. And if you like this video, you please put a like and share it with your maximum friends. That's it from my side. Ciao from Neeraj from Moscow.